Oh, hey, everybody, we're back here on the Baker Motorsports Power Hour, and now it's the Bakersfield Speedway section of the show. And sitting in for Scott Schweitzer is our own Mike Griffith, because Scott called in sick kind of the last minute, and maybe he's on his way to Boone, Iowa. I don't know. It's his weekend off.
Well, I probably not going to Boone, Iowa.
Let me see that. So this is you got this in here.
Yeah, it starts
Let me see this here.
September
So
1st.
This is for the
Super Nationals.
Super National Modified.
Well, they run everything: hobby stocks, late models, a variety of modifieds. There's wall-to-wall racing for about 6-7 days straight back there, 11 a.m. to about 10 p.m.
Right. They start the first race, like on Wednesday next week, is at 2:00, and they go till 10 p.m. nonstop racing.
Yeah, they even have thrown a golf tournament if you're not busy enough, like on Friday morning for some of the players.
That's pretty amazing.
So if you're not raced out, play a little golf. But a lot of drivers back there, a lot of action.
Well, there was a lot of action at Bakersfield Speedway last week. We'll get to that in a second. Now, there's no racing this weekend. Everything's closed up this weekend for Labor Day. But coming back on the 6th, you got street stocks, hobby stocks, American stocks, mini stocks. I might have cut that off. I don't know if that's right or not, but
yeah, that's right. And about the big points battle anymore is American stocks. Brian Childress is about 24 points up, but one flat tire that can go away.
Right. So that's the program for the 6th. Now they're going to race. There's every weekend in September. So
yeah, they pretty much from the 6th on, they go right through 4 straight weeks through September. Take a break the first weekend of October, and then they come back with the 29th annual Bud Nationals on the 10th and 11th, big 2-day show, late models, street stocks, about everything you run.
And we're gonna do a expanded show to preview that for Bakersfield Speedway, a 90-minute show probably. Lots of drivers, lots of discussion about the Bud Nationals, because what a way to finish out a great season at Bakersfield Speedway. And it was a great weekend, right, Griff?
Oh, a big weekend of racing out there. It was racing for Ronald Knight, Ronald McDonald House. Chloe Jones, kind of, I guess you could say figurehead, spearheaded,
right,
or whatever, but the 9-year-old Chloe, senior mini dwarf driver, decided she wanted to raise some money for Ronald McDonald House, and a lot of people got behind her. Mike and Sadie Hill from Yohasi Rebar Instrumental got a whole bunch of corporate sponsors on hand, and they had a carnival, pre-race carnival from 1 to 4 p.m., dunk tank there. There's Tina Bell.
You know what? He didn't provide any pictures of Steve.
You know what? He went early. He went 1 to 1:30. So
it was Steve in the.
Yeah, he got there. He was
in the bikini shorts.
He'd been dunked and gone by the time I got there.
Great night of events. So lots of things going on. They had a barbecue, face painting, and then driving, and we got to the modified. Let's go ahead and show. It should be modified, which should be the first clip we're going to show. And we have some highlights from the guys at Low Budget TV. No, modifieds, I think, is... Nope,
that's old.
That's old. We'll have to skip that one for now. So not sure what that is. It's all right. So we'll get to that. We had some video, but it looks like we don't have the right video. But modifieds ran over the weekend, and interesting race, right, Griff?
Interesting race. Brad Pounds was in a.
That's Scott Pounds right there, right?
Yeah, Scott's celebrating. Yeah. Brad jumped into Joey Yontis's car. Brad's car is all dialed in, ready, loaded up to head to Boone. I think they headed out. I think they left yesterday. So you don't want to race your car a day or two before you're leaving, obviously.
Right.
So he got into basically a loaner car and came from down in the field and got his 7th win of the season. So pretty nice drive for Brad.
All right. Brad was the winner there. He beat Kyle Heckman and Troy Morris Jr. Cody Laney was in 4th. Brian Clark in 5th. Robbie Sawyer in 6th. Steve Noland in 7th. Ryan Daves in 8th. Justin Schweitzer in 9th. And Brett Bennett finishing 10th. All right.
Little pile up at the end of the race.
Yeah, we got that on video.
Yeah, a little pile up, about a 4 or 5 car pile up there at the end.
Tell me, how would a guy like Brad Pounds fare out in Boone, Iowa?
He's done some well. He's made a couple of main events. Very difficult in Boone. You draw for heat races, so you have 6, 8 car. I don't know. Tom Mox would know more, but say 8 cars in a heat race, and just 24 heat races or something, and 22 heat races, and you win your heat race, you qualify for that night's main event. you don't win your heat race, there's these second chance B mains and all this other stuff. So a lot of it, if you draw number 8 in an 8-car heat race, you're probably not winning that heat race. So if you can just get to Saturday night's main event,
Right.
you've done a heck of a job back there in Boone, Iowa.
Right. Absolutely. Moving on to hobby stocks. Some great racing here, and here was your winner, Kevin Collier, with the win. And tell me about this race, Griff.
Kevin was gone from racing, Porterville driver, out of racing for several years, came back, started racing this year. I believe that was his 3rd win of the year. Another Porterville driver, 2nd, Brent Hosfeld. And then the points leader, Stephen Johnson, 3rd. But Kevin got out front, and he had a good run in hot rod that night.
Jimmy Irwin finishing 4th. John McKinley in 5th. Robert Swearingen was 6th. Aaron Stewart 7th. Lloyd Wren Jr. in 8th. Ralph Cook in 9th. And Tim Delsit Jr. in 10th.
Ralph Cook, 80 years old, I believe, said, and he's going to come back and run again next year. He wants to kind of retire to somewhere around Boise, Idaho, I believe.
Right.
But he's going to come back and run again next year. Yeah, he had a little problem. He was leading the race a couple weeks ago and had a little mechanical issue, or else he might have got a victory.
Sport mods. What about this one? I mean, this was when I came out with you the one night. I really enjoyed this class a lot.
Yeah, sport mods are always entertaining. I think they had 18 cars for that race. So another typical good night of sport mod racing out there at Bakersfield Speedway.
And taking a look at some of the Tom Mocks. Great pictures from Sport Mods. Again, if you haven't seen this up close, I was trying to explain this to my wife the other day. It's really pretty addicting to go out there and watch these guys race side by side.
Well, they're racing side by side. Sometimes they'll get 3 wide in the corners. And the thing is, at the Speedway, the stands are pretty close to the action. You just want to be, if you sit in turn 4, you want to be a few rows up, make sure you don't get some mud on you.
Right.
You sit it because when you turn sideways, it's going to throw some mud off the tires. But it's a great racing out there. It's compact, lots of side-by-side action. Levi Kiefer, 2nd win in a row for Levi, so he's got that car dialed in.
Yeah. He beats Wayne Dotson, Eric Manning, Chad Reichenbach, Lee Jensen. That's your top 5. Rounding out the top 10, Ethan Dotson at 6th, Michael Johnson at 7, Garrett Jernigan at 8, Ricky Childress Jr. at 9, and Kevin Johnson at 10. Moving on to mini stocks, and look at that. There's a Ford Pinto. Number 44 car, Griffith.
Yeah, you don't see too many Ford Pintos. Those rear-wheel drive cars, they found out early in the mini stocks, aren't as good as the front-wheel drive cars. Just not as much horsepower as the front-wheel drive cars, basically. But 22 cars for this field, which is, it's strange. The end of the season, fields generally get a little thinner. Budgets run out, cars get torn up. Biggest mini stock field of the year.
Right. And I think, how much did Zach win? He won $100.
He didn't get in. Yeah, $100 for Zach.
Yeah,
he was pretty happy about that win.
Zach with the win there. Gary Spiller Jr. in 2nd. Doug Shepard in 3rd. Tina Bell, who we had pictures of being dunked in the dunk tank, finishing 4th.
Still atop the points.
Jared Plumley 5th. Roy Maynard in 6th. Billy Winchester in 7th. Bryce Bolander in 8th. Shannon Treed in 9th. And Joe Humphrey in 10th. And NMRA Midgets, which is a fun race to watch. These guys really whip around the track at high speeds and are entertaining.
Yeah, they got, I think, 1,200cc motorcycle engines in there. There's about 7 of them, a little thin, getting late in the season, but no differences who's winning. You're going to see these familiar names up there. Wes Evans, he wins a lot there. Anthony Lopiccolo runs well, and Chuck West, he's always in the top field there.
And Kenny Wiley, Don Kiefer, and Bruce Hiroshima, who his name we called out a lot. He's been in there too, and Britt Grissom rounding out your top 7 there. So a small field in NMRA Midgets, but a good one too.
Well, they scoot around, and I think that may have been yellow free, so it doesn't take him very long. And West had the car to beat. He got out front and just had a pretty easy victory.
Well, good stuff here on the Power Hour today. We were sorry that Scott Schweitzer couldn't be with us today because he was ill. But I'm sure that we will have plenty to talk about next week as they get ready for the rest of the regular season, because they've got, after next week, that's 6 weeks left, I think, of their year. And
yeah, you got the 4 straight weeks of racing. And
7 weeks, I should say. Yeah, right.
Yeah, 4 straight weeks, and then you just got the Bud Nationals to round it out. And the car count, I can't remember what it was last year at the Bud Nationals, but the regular pits are filled, the auxiliary pits are filled. And if you make one race a year, you want to make the Bud Nationals. Right. You go out there on a Friday, see a bunch of racing. The late models will have a main event on Friday night, 30-lapper, I believe. They'll come back. They'll also have a 50-lap main event on Saturday night, and a lot of heat races, just a wide variety of racing. All basically what Scott says, all your house divisions, your modifieds, your sport mods, your hobby stocks, American stocks, all out there on Friday night, and the street stocks come in on Sunday to take the place of American stocks run on Friday night. So just a jam-packed weekend of racing.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us here on the Baker Motorsports Power Hour. This has been produced by myself and Mike Griffith, and directed by Chris McCall on the other side. There it is. And this is recorded live at the Dignity Health Studios here at the Bakersfield, California. And this is a production of the Bakersfield, California. Thanks for joining us. See you guys next week here on the Baker Motorsports Power Hour.